Okay, let's unpack this. What if everything we thought we knew about our solar system's ancient history, and maybe even our own minds, was just one tiny piece of a much larger, more, well, alien story? Today, we're doing a deep dive into exactly that question, looking at this really fascinating Kindle book, Through Alien Eyes by Wesley H. Bateman. Our mission here is basically to pull out the key ideas from these pretty extraordinary claims and help you get a handle on the unique vision Bateman presents. It's kind of a shortcut to getting informed on this very intriguing subject.
Yeah, what's genuinely fascinating here is just the sheer scope of it all. I mean, the claims are huge. This isn't just, another book. It's really an invitation to think about perspectives far beyond our usual understanding. It challenges the very foundations of what we assume is true. We're basically setting the stage to explore a story that completely reevaluates history, astronomy, even human consciousness, all supposedly through an extraterrestrial viewpoint.
That's a really powerful way to put it. And speaking of challenging assumptions, let's jump right into a big one. A cosmic-level bombshell, you could say. The core idea in Through Alien Eyes is that it has accounts, direct accounts from ETs, about things that happened in our solar system. Not just centuries ago, but many millions of years ago.
Mm.
So the whole point is seeing our universe, literally, through alien eyes, not human observation, but like an external ancient record shared by beings who claim they were there.
It's a really foundational claim. It completely reframes our cosmic neighborhood, doesn't it? If you start to entertain this premise, it suggests our current scientific models, how planets formed, how the system evolved, might be missing something huge, like a fundamental, maybe catastrophic event. It forces us to reconsider the forces that shaped things right here from the ground up. Our whole picture of the ancient solar system could be, well, incomplete, missing an entire chapter, maybe even a whole book of planetary history.
Right. So, okay, given this pretty radical perspective, what did our ancient solar system actually look like through these alien eyes? What's the picture the book paints?
Well, according to the book, millions and millions of years ago, our solar system had 4 planets and 4 things called radiator systems orbiting the sun.
Okay, 4 planets. Which ones?
The 4 planets were what we now call Venus, Earth, Mars. And a 4th one, a now totally shattered world they called Maldec.
Maldec.
Yeah.
A shattered world. Wow. I mean, the idea of a major planet just gone, shattered. It hints at some kind of ancient cataclysm on a scale we hardly ever think about in, human history.
Exactly. And then there are the radiator systems. That's the term the book uses for the bodies we currently call Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune. But what's really key here isn't just the different name. The terminology itself might be important. The book suggests radiator isn't just a label. It might refer to a type of celestial body that radiates something or actively influences its environment in ways we don't fully get. Maybe they're like energetic hubs, not just passive lumps of gas held together by gravity.
Okay, so radiators influencing their environment. That's different. And what about moons?
Ah, yeah. What Earth astronomers usually call moons, the extraterrestrials in the book prefer to call planetoids. Planetoids, which kind of implies they might have had a more independent, maybe planetary-like evolution, or perhaps even, the book hints, some form of consciousness associated with them. It's not just rocks orbiting.
That is a significant difference. It changes how you think about these bodies, not just what you call them.
Yeah.
So if we follow this, Maldec shattered millions of years ago. These radiators weren't just gas giants, but active influencers. What does the book say about the impact of something that huge destroying a whole planet? What did that do to the rest of the system? And maybe more importantly for us, why wouldn't something that fundamental be in our human records or scientific understanding?
Well, the book suggests Maldec's destruction wasn't just, a local event. It apparently had profound ripple effects across the whole system. It likely impacted gravitational dynamics, maybe even the energetic balance of the entire local solar system. It paints a picture of a much more volatile and dynamic ancient history than our current models usually assume. And as for why we don't know about it, well, that ties into other concepts in the book, but it also explicitly states these insights are the personal views of a number of different types of extraterrestrials. So it's not presented as one single unified alien history lesson. It's more like collected perspectives, maybe even differing views from various ET sources about how things were back then, both in the solar system and here on Earth.
Okay, so a diverse set of alien perspectives on a truly explosive ancient history. That whole idea, especially the shattered world, it really forces you to question the bedrock of our cosmic story, doesn't it? But for a story this radical to even get told, the source of the information has to be just as extraordinary. And that brings us to Wesley Bateman, the author. He's central to how these alien eyes supposedly got revealed. I mean, how does someone even start to do a deep dive into ancient cosmic history from an ET viewpoint? What's the mechanism claimed here?
Right. It all comes down to Bateman's unique connection as the book presents it. He's described as a telepath with direct contact to ETs. Now, that's obviously a huge claim, and it's absolutely central to the whole narrative. His method isn't about, landing ships or physical meetings. It's about a specific kind of mental access.
And this access happens through something the book calls the open state. Okay, this seems like a really key concept. The ETs Bateman says he contacts are from this open state, which means they are not subject to Earth, mankind's frequency barrier caused closed brain and limited consciousness. It's almost like, think of it like a radio. Most of humanity is maybe tuned into just one frequency, one station, right? Maybe AM radio only. But Bateman supposedly can tune into the whole spectrum, including these frequencies from beings not limited by this barrier.
Exactly. And this frequency barrier is critical to the book's whole cosmology. It posits this fundamental limitation on human perception and understanding, a limitation that, according to the text, Bateman overcomes with his telepathic abilities. The book suggests the effects of this barrier aren't just about missing information. It supposedly manifests as specific cognitive biases, a kind of collective amnesia about our real cosmic origins, and maybe even limitations in our science, stopping us from developing tech or understanding things that operate beyond this supposed barrier. It's presented not just as a blind spot, but almost like a design feature or flaw in human perception from the ET perspective.
Wow. So the barrier isn't just theoretical. It actively shapes our reality and limits what we can know or even discover. And Bateman, through his open state access, claims to have received, over 35 years of ongoing information through these contacts. But this isn't like a one-off message. It's described as a vast, continuous stream of data covering an incredible range of topics. It goes into the nature of the open state itself, this entity called the Federation, and of course the frequency barrier and its effects on us, which, like you said, is key to understanding our own limits as seen by these ETs.
But the scope gets even wider, right? It touches on ET roles and evolution, technical stuff, science, even universal symbolic languages.
Yes, indeed. The information stream is depicted as incredibly broad. It includes details on mathematics, universal symbolic language, and perhaps quite intriguingly, the three trading houses of this system.
Three trading houses. What does that even mean in this context? Galactic corporations. It's presented as something more fundamental than just companies. The book gives this glimpse into what sounds like a complex galactic economy and maybe power structure. It doesn't give them stock reports or anything, but it characterizes these trading houses as foundational power structures, ancient influential organizations. They seem to regulate things like resource exchange, tech dissemination, maybe even certain interspecies relationships across huge regions of space. It hints at a very sophisticated, highly regulated interstellar society that we're just completely unaware of. So yeah, this goes way beyond just talking about planets. It's galactic politics, universal communication methods, our own evolutionary story, all supposedly filtered through these alien perspectives.
That is just a staggering amount of information for one person to claim to receive and then compile over decades. And when you think about the sheer ambition of it, detailing galactic politics, interstellar trade, it naturally leads to the question I bet a lot of our listeners are thinking. How on earth do you even begin to verify claims this extraordinary? What does Bateman's work imply about cosmic truth itself, especially if it's supposedly coming from sources outside our limited consciousness?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? And the book kind of implicitly answers it by framing the information as a direct perception from beings who operate beyond our frequency barrier. It fundamentally encourages us to question the very tools we use to perceive and interpret reality. How do we know what we know? So for you, the learner listening to this, it's really an invitation to explore not just potentially new facts, but maybe entirely new ways of acquiring and verifying knowledge, even if it's within the context of a source that's, let's face it, highly unconventional. The premise implies our standard scientific methods might be inherently limited by this barrier. So empirical proof, as we usually define it, might be impossible from within our current state of consciousness, according to this view. It forces you to consider a radically different way of knowing, a whole different epistemology.
That really does reframe how you might even approach understanding the universe or claims about it. Okay, let's put the book itself in a bit of context for people. On the Amazon Kindle store, Through Alien Eyes, is categorized into religion and spirituality, then occult, then UFOs. It holds ranks like hashtag 927 in UFOs on the Kindle store, hashtag 1043 in occult UFOs. And it's not a short read, it's 825 pages long, first published April 1st, 2000. So that suggests it's a pretty significant piece of work within its particular niche. right? Judging by the length and the depth it claims it's a serious undertaking for its intended audience.
Absolutely. Its placement in those categories tells you a lot about the niche it fills. It's speaking to readers who are already exploring esoteric ideas, ET contact, alternative theories about reality. And just to give you a sense of its, let's say, intellectual neighborhood, the customers who bought this item also bought section includes things like Knowledge from the Stars, which is also by Wesley Bateman, so that makes sense, but also books like The Holographic Universe or The Gene Keys. It sort of paints a picture of a community really interested in hidden realities, expanding consciousness, and alternative ways of understanding existence that definitely go beyond mainstream science.
Right. So bringing it back,
Mhm.
what does all this mean for us, for you listening, trying to stay informed across different viewpoints? I mean, regardless of whether you personally believe in ET contact or telepathy, this work provides a really thought-provoking framework, doesn't it? It challenges us to think about alternative histories and maybe the limits of our own current scientific and philosophical models. It's a powerful reminder, I think, that there are always other perspectives out there, some of them radically different from ours, just waiting to be considered.
And that really is the value, I think. It's a chance to engage with this multi-layered perspective that, if nothing else, stretches your imaginative boundaries. It encourages deeper questions about our place in the cosmos. And for the learner who's already exploring these kinds of frontiers, encountering a framework like this, even if it feels speculative, pushes you out of your intellectual comfort zone. It makes you think critically about how we gain knowledge and how we decide what's valid.
Okay, so we've taken quite a journey today. We've looked through what Wesley H. Bateman in Through Alien Eyes claims are ancient cosmic records. We talked about this reimagined solar system, the shattered planet Maldec, the gas giants maybe being powerful radio systems. We explored Bateman's unique role as the supposed telepath, his access to an open state, and the sheer volume of information he claims to have received over decades. Covering everything from galactic politics and universal languages to the nature of our own consciousness and this frequency barrier that the book says fundamentally shapes or limits our perception of reality.
Yeah, and this deep dive into Through Alien Eyes really leaves us with a provocative thought, doesn't it? It makes you wonder, maybe the biggest barrier to understanding the universe isn't just the vast distances out there. Maybe it's this frequency barrier described in the book, something within our own minds. What if our own perception is the primary thing limiting what we can learn? Not just about distant stars or ETs, but about ourselves, about our real history, about the true tapestry of the cosmos. It really challenges us to question not just what's out there, but what internal filters won't be preventing us from seeing it clearly. So keep questioning, keep seeking, and who knows, you might start seeing the world through different eyes, maybe even alien eyes.